Justice denied when plea deals betray the dead. Imagine losing a loved one to senseless violence, only to watch their killer walk away with a slap on the wrist. This isn't a fictional nightmare. It's the reality for Ada Rice, whose son, Roy Hodge, was brutally murdered. Prepare to be outraged as we dissect a case that exposes the dark underbelly of our justice system. Give a like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Roy Hodge, a dedicated postal worker, was simply buying groceries at Joe's Deli in Harlem. On January 2nd, his life was tragically cut short in a senseless act of violence. He was stabbed to death, leaving behind a grieving mother and a community demanding justice. The scene was Joe's Deli Grocery, a place of everyday transactions turned into a crime scene. The victim, a man in uniform, representing the very fabric of our society. This wasn't just a murder, it was an assault on the community itself. Jaya Cruz, the individual responsible for Hodge's death, was initially indicted on a charge of second-degree murder. This charge carries a sentence of 25 years to life, a punishment that seemed fitting for such a heinous crime. But the promise of justice was soon shattered. Second-degree murder acknowledges the gravity of taking a life. It reflects the understanding that some actions are so reprehensible they demand severe consequences. Why, then, was this charge so easily discarded? Less than 3 months after the indictment, a plea deal was struck. Cruz pleaded guilty to first-degree manslaughter, a significantly lesser charge. This decision has left Ada Rice feeling utterly betrayed by a system she believed would protect her son's memory. A plea deal is supposed to serve the interests of justice, but what happens when it feels like a betrayal? When the victim's family is left feeling unheard and disregarded? This is the question that haunts this case. Ada Rice is not silent. She is a force of nature, fueled by grief and a burning desire for justice. She claims the district attorney's office initially assured her they had a strong case and that a plea deal was out of the question. The DA's office alleged initial assurances are now empty words, echoing in the halls of injustice. Rice's pain is compounded by the feeling that she was deliberately misled, her hopes raised only to be cruelly dashed. Adding insult to injury, Rice is outraged that federal charges were never pursued. Hodge was a federal employee in uniform when he was murdered. Why wasn't this treated as a federal crime? The lack of federal involvement raises serious questions about the value placed on the lives of federal employees. Was Hodge's life deemed less worthy of justice simply because he wore a postal uniform? The video evidence from Joe's Deli is a crucial point of contention. Rice claims the video clearly shows Cruz instigating the confrontation, painting a picture of premeditation and malice. If the video evidence supports Rice's claims, then the plea deal becomes even more egregious. It suggests that the DA's office ignored or downplayed critical evidence in their pursuit of a quick resolution. The details of the incident are chilling. Hodge threw a plastic bottle at Cruz, a regrettable action, but one that hardly justifies the brutal response. Cruz then stabbed Hodge multiple times, ending his life in a fit of rage. After the attack, Cruz allegedly uttered the words, "He deserved it." These words reveal a disturbing lack of remorse and a chilling disregard for human life. How can such a statement be reconciled with the prosecutor's claim of remorse? Prosecutors cited Cruz's remorse as a key factor in their decision to offer the plea deal. They claimed Cruz expressed a desire to take responsibility for Hodge's death. But Rice and her supporters see this as a hollow excuse. Is remorse truly possible when someone can so easily take a life and then utter such callous words? Or is this simply a calculated attempt to manipulate the system and secure a lighter sentence? The courtroom erupted in chaos when the plea deal was announced. A supporter of Hodge was escorted out after expressing their outrage, shouting, "This is not justice." Their cries echoed the sentiments of many who feel the system has failed them. The silencing of dissenting voices in the courtroom is a disturbing reflection of a system that prioritizes efficiency over justice. When the voices of the victims are suppressed, the very foundation of justice is undermined. Cruz's attorney argues that Hodge was the aggressor, claiming he struck Cruz first and used slurs. This attempt to blame the victim is a common tactic in criminal defense, but it adds further insult to injury for Rice and her family. Even if Hodge did throw a bottle and utter slurs, does that justify a brutal stabbing? Does it excuse the taking of a human life? The defense's argument is a desperate attempt to deflect blame and minimize Cruz's culpability. Cruz will be sentenced to 15 years in prison, with 5 years of supervised release. This sentence is a fraction of what she could have received if convicted of second-degree murder. It feels like a slap on the wrist for taking a human life. 15 years is a lifetime for Roy Hodge, who will never see another sunrise. It's a lifetime for Ada Rice, who will forever grieve the loss of her son. But for Jaya Cruz, it's a finite period, after which she will be free to walk among us again. This case is not an isolated incident. It's a symptom of a larger problem within our criminal justice system. Plea deals are often used to expedite cases and reduce the burden on the courts, but at what cost? The pursuit of efficiency should never come at the expense of justice. When plea deals are used to circumvent the full weight of the law, the victims and their families are the ones who pay the price. Ada Rice lives in constant fear that Cruz will be released early and kill again. This fear is a direct result of the plea deal, which has left her feeling vulnerable and unprotected. The justice system is supposed to provide closure and a sense of security for victims and their families. But in this case, it has only amplified their pain and fear. This case demands our attention. It demands our outrage. It demands change. We cannot stand idly by while the justice system fails the victims and their families. Here's what you can do. Share this video, spread awareness about this injustice, and demand accountability from the DA's office. Contact your elected officials. Demand that they investigate this case and work to reform the plea deal system. Support victim advocacy groups. Donate your time or money to organizations that fight for the rights of victims and their families. Educate yourself. Learn more about the criminal justice system and how it impacts victims. Sign the petition. Demand a review of this case and a commitment to seeking justice for Roy Hodge. Let Ada Rice's pain be a catalyst for change. Let us demand a justice system that truly serves the victims and holds perpetrators accountable for their actions. Let us ensure that Roy Hodge's death is not in vain.